Now have a brand new Big Three. Here's your new star trio, Bulls fans.
I thought three was Dougie McBuckets.
It used to be Dougie McDuggets. I think he's going to gladly give up that jersey for the future Hall of Famer Dwyane Wade. There he is, front and center, surrounded by his new mates. Jimmy Butler will be moving to the small forward position, and Rajon Rondo, the longtime Boston Celtic, the four-time All-Star, will be running the point. And as we mentioned, McDermott got his number 3 hijacked in this whole transaction, but he won't mind.
Yes, and Dwyane Wade a short time ago told the Associated Press this was not an easy decision, but I feel I have made the right choice. Watching the Bulls growing up inspired me at an early age to pursue my dream of becoming a basketball player. My most treasured memories were watching my dad play basketball on the courts of Fermi Elementary School and developing my game at the Blue Island Rec Center. I have never forgotten where I came from, and I am thankful to have an opportunity to play for the team that first fueled my love of the game. Here now, a look at a projected starting 5 for the Bulls on opening night. It looks a whole lot different than it did a couple of weeks ago, and even as recently as Sunday afternoon, because that night, word came out that veteran point guard Rajon Rondo was going to sign a 2-year deal with the Bulls. Now comes tonight's news about Wade, which would seem to push Jimmy Butler to playing the 3 thanks to the acquisition of number 3. But they'll need someone to go get the basketball. So if that's more important than a drive and kick shooter, Taj Gibson will be hitting the glass with another newcomer.
You know, we benched Nico Mirotic from our live coverage earlier.
Yes.
We had Nico penciled.
We've had a little revision.
Spot. Yeah.
We had a little revision. With that, we bring in our CSNChicago.com Bulls insider, Vincent Goodwill. It's been a busy couple of hours for Vinny and everyone here. First of all, your reaction to the news on a story that really just started picking up speed over the last couple of hours.
Yeah, I didn't think the Bulls had any chance of realistically acquiring Dwyane Wade. Not that I didn't think that the Bulls were a good enough organization or anything like that. I just did not see there being any realistic possibility of a divorce between Dwyane Wade and the Miami Heat. Those two names have become so synonymous over the past decade. Players have come and gone from the Miami Heat landscape, but Dwyane Wade has been the constant. To see things get so bad, the Bulls actually just prepared themselves and sort of stayed on the periphery, not allowing themselves to get too deep into the negotiation process. But when they saw things start to move a little bit forward, Jose Calderon going to the Lakers, Mike Dunleavy going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they've sort of remained relevant. They've stayed out of the basically, let's say, the 20-win range or the 30-win range, even with a guy like Jimmy Butler. Now with Rondo and with Robin Lopez, and Dwyane Wade, you've remade your starting lineup. You've made yourself relevant in the Eastern Conference, a probable playoff team. And even though that second year on Dwyane Wade is a player option, you've at least forgotten or forbidden yourself from going all the way down to the abyss. It's going to be an adjustment. There's going to be plenty of questions for how these guys fit, especially Dwyane Wade and Jimmy Butler. That's going to be for Fred Hoiberg to answer over the next 6 weeks or so when he looks at the film and figures out the best fit for this team. But you'd rather have the talent on the floor than not.
Well, Vinny, we almost had to hit you with a fine. You started to say Brook Lopez, but you quickly corrected yourself and got the right guy, Robin Lopez. You know, when the season ended, we heard a lot from Gar Forman about how the Bulls' championship window had closed, and the mission now for the front office was to try to get a younger and more athletic roster. How does the addition of Rondo and tonight Dwyane Wade kind of jive with what the front office was trying to accomplish?
Well, let's be honest. When they had that press conference on that night in April, they could not foresee the possibility of adding a guy like Rajon Rondo and then a week later adding a guy like Dwyane Wade. Whenever teams say that they're going to get younger and more athletic, that's translated as saying we're not going to be very good, because usually young and athletic does not equal great basketball players. So if they could have foreseen getting these two type of players, I think that the narrative would have been a lot different. But when the opportunity is presented in front of you, and basically what you're trying to do is tread water in the meantime, give yourself enough flexibility over the next couple of years. Rondo and Wade are on short-term contracts. The salary cap will spike again next season. The Bulls will have more flexibility as they try to remake this roster, as some of the young pieces that they did not have to give up are in position to grow and flourish, or at least at worst, the Bulls are in a position where they can evaluate the pieces that they have so they can have a better sense of a plan moving forward.
Well, Fred Hoiberg has a couple of new stars on his roster, but how does that jive, square peg, square hole? How does it jive in terms of what his vision is for an different offense. He's going to have to do some adjusting too, right?
Oh, he's going to have to do a lot of adjusting. That dream, he has to wake up from about pace and space, but you'd rather have the talent than not. You'd rather have guys who can create off the bounce and guys you have to just say, you know what, let's just simplify this offense. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to give Dwyane Wade the ball on the left block. He's going to give him to him on the elbow. And Jimmy Butler, he's going to give him his room to space the floor. The one thing about those three players, they all are willing passers. So even though the three of them are not great jump shooters, are not great three-point shooters, maybe the Bulls have one more personnel move to make to go acquire another shooter to go along with Doug McDermott and Nikola Mirotic. And not only that, guys, it lessens the responsibility that you have on those younger guys to develop at their own pace. So yes, Fred Hoiberg has a difficult task as far as coaching these strong personalities, these championship players in Rondo and Jimmy Butler and also Dwyane Wade. But now you also at least you're in a position where you have the talent to move forward.
All right, Vincent, thanks a lot. A very crazy night. We know you have some writing to do for CSNChicago.com.
Thanks, guys.
Now it's time for our Sports Business Insider, presented by Elk Grove Village Makers Wanted. You know, it's kind of funny that Wade's contract dispute with Miami was partially over money because the former Richards High School star has earned over $150 million in his NBA career, and maybe double that when you figure in endorsements and all the things he's done off the court. Wade named to the NBA All-Star team in 12 of his 13 seasons. He's won 3 NBA championships, led the league in scoring once, and was the Finals MVP back in 2006. And now we welcome in Ethan Skolnick from the Miami Herald, who's covered Dwyane Wade for most, if not all, of his NBA career. Ethan, thank you for taking the time. Obviously a situation where most people assumed that in the end the Miami Heat would find out a way to work out a contract with Dwyane Wade. How did the relationship break down between Wade and the Heat front office?
Ethan, we know you have interview requests coming out of your ears. We appreciate you picking up the phone and joining us here on Comcast Sportsnet, and we'll continue reading your work in the Miami Herald as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ethan Skolnick from the Miami Herald joining us here on Sportsnet Central.
Tough times in Miami, but here in Chicago, we're not too worried about that.
We're crying tears for those folks down there at South Beach. Coming up, we still have more coverage on Dwyane Wade coming home to become a member of your Chicago Bulls.
Sportsnet Central on Comcast Sportsnet is presented to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Dwyane Wade is Chicago-born and bred. The South Suburban Robbins native averaged 27 points and 11 rebounds his senior year at Richards High School in Oak Lawn. He helped the Bulldogs to a 24-5 record that year and a berth in the title game of the Class AA Eisenhower Sectional, back when it was just Single A and AA. Alongside Mark Chanowski, Chris Bowden, as we continue coverage of tonight's top story that kind of fell out of the sky about 8:15 tonight. The Bulls reaching terms on a 2-year deal with a reported $47 million for Wade, who spent all 13 of his previous NBA seasons with the Miami Heat.
And I remember that high school video back when I did the feature on him for Channel 5. Anyway, Bulls really got serious about pursuing Wade late this afternoon when a meeting between the 12-time All-Star and Miami Heat owner Mickey Arison failed to resolve any of the hard feelings between the two sides, and that quickly blossomed into his agreeing to sign with the Bulls. What are the Bulls getting? Well, how about one of the best shooting guards in NBA history, arguably one of the top 50 players of all time. He is entering the later stages of his career. Wade will turn 35 in January, but as you just heard from Ethan Skolnick, he's coming off one of his healthiest seasons in quite a while. He played 74 regular season games, carried the Heat to the Eastern Conference semifinals.
I can tell you I'm totally shocked. What a better place to end your career than in your hometown of Chicago. You know, I think that, you know, him teaming up with Rajon Rondo in the backcourt, yes, they're older, 30 years old and 35 years, and Dwyane will be 35 years old, but, you know, I'm one of those guys that really doesn't believe in age. You know, as long as you take care of your body and you stay fit, then I believe that you can remain a very capable basketball player, as Dwyane Wade did last year. You know, he turned 34 years old, but he averaged 19 points, played most of the season. But I'm glad that he landed here with the Chicago Bulls. You know, I wasn't really in favor of the trade of Derrick Rose. I'm still not, but this makes it a lot better with Rajon Rondo and D Wade coming to join the Bulls. You know, now with Dwyane Wade, you have two All-Stars. You move Jimmy over to the 3 and move D Wade to the 2-guard position with a Rajon Rondo. I think this is a definite upgrade from last year. Now, you know, I didn't know whether we would make the playoffs next year, but now adding Dwyane Wade to the mix, I think that you definitely make the playoffs. And I don't know whether Gar and Pax are done yet with free agent signings, but I really like what the moves that they've made because, like you said, 4 or 5 days ago, I really didn't know what direction this team was going. You know, I can tell you this much, Mark. I didn't really know what we were going to talk about in the pre- and post-game shows. Now I'm excited to get back to the job.
Hey, Kendall, I'm here, too. Here's a look at Wade's numbers through a 13-year career in Miami. Only one of those seasons did he not make the All-Star team. Brings 3 NBA title rings with him back home. He was also the Finals MVP for that first title with Shaq back in 2006. That after being the 5th overall pick in the 2003 draft out of Marquette. The resume also includes a scoring title in 2009.
Yeah, 13 seasons shooting 49% from the field as a 2-guard. That is impressive. Now we're going to switch gears.